Okay, so let's picture this. Day 5. The Sean Diddy Combs trial.
Mm-hmm.
And the air in that courtroom.
Yeah.
You can just imagine how thick it was, right?
Yeah.
Especially after, everything that had already come out.
Oh, absolutely. The transcript we're looking at from What Is My Star Worth, it really paints this picture of a pressure cooker, just waiting.
Right. And you've got Diddy there trying to look composed, putting on that front, but underneath,
Yeah.
the tension must have been just intense.
Unbearable, I'd imagine. It felt like more than just a trial day, almost like a moment of reckoning was hanging there.
And that's exactly what we're diving into. We want to really unpack the significance of 50 Cent just showing up
Mm-hmm.
unexpectedly
Mm-hmm.
based on this transcript.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't just some celebrity popping in, was it? It felt like it actually shifted something
Yeah.
fundamentally.
It really did seem to. It's one of those moments that makes you think, okay, what are the real power dynamics here? Not just in the trial, but, the whole industry.
Okay, let's break down that moment he first arrived.
Yeah.
50 Cent walks in. Sharp gray suit, dark glasses,
Mm.
slips in through the back doors.
Yeah.
And the transcript, it stresses this immediate hush that fell. Like silence. What do you make of that?
Yeah.
It's more than just, oh, look who it is.
Oh, way more. That silence, it speaks volumes, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's a mix of things, I think. Shock, definitely. I mean, who expects that? But also anticipation. 50's been so vocal online, seeing him there, it felt like an escalation, real world stakes.
Yeah, and maybe for some people in that room, it was hope, or maybe fear. Like, what does this mean now?
Exactly. He wasn't just, tweeting anymore. He was there, physically present, making a huge statement without saying a word yet.
And the transcript notes him sitting down, arms folded, just looking straight at Diddy. You can almost feel that stare across the room.
It's powerful. And what's interesting is how that quiet intensity, it sort of contrasts with his online persona, which can be, much louder.
Right.
It suggests maybe a real seriousness here, a deliberate choice, a visual declaration.
So then, during the lunch break, he speaks outside. And his reasons were pretty straightforward. Talking about the industry, protecting the wrong people, how Cassie was brave, and basically saying she's not alone anymore. That feels big.
It reframes it, doesn't it? It shifts it away from just being like a personal beef or online drama.
Yeah.
It becomes about solidarity, supporting someone he thinks was wronged. And it's also a critique of the system, the industry itself. That gives it a kind of a moral weight.
But it wasn't just showing up. The transcript says 50 had actually been working with Cassie's lawyers behind the scenes.
Right. That's key.
Providing documents, old photos, phone records, even a statement from a former bodyguard. That shows way deeper involvement.
Absolutely. This wasn't spontaneous. It points to a thought-out effort to back up Cassie's case with actual evidence, tangible stuff.
That bodyguard statement, that could be crucial. Corroboration.
Exactly. It moves it beyond just symbolic support. He's actively participating in bringing information forward.
And then he drops the bomb that he's funding an independent investigation into Diddy's history.
Wow.
Saying it's not for attention, but because, too many people have been hurt and they're still scared. That's a major move.
It really is. Funding an investigation, that signals a commitment to finding a potentially much broader truth beyond just this one trial.
Like opening the door for others.
Potentially, yeah. Empowering other possible victims, challenging that whole culture of silence on a much bigger scale.
So back in the courtroom, the immediate reactions, very telling. Cassie's team, grateful. Diddy's lawyers, trying to downplay it, but the transcript says clearly rattled.
You can imagine.
And the atmosphere inside reportedly got heavier, more tense. Why do you think just his presence had such a destabilizing effect?
Well, it throws a wrench in the works, doesn't it? It's unpredictable. It disrupts whatever narrative the defense was trying to carefully build. Plus, 50 Cent has this huge public profile. He's known for being outspoken. Him being there just ramps up the scrutiny on Diddy. And maybe it emboldened others in the room, too.
Yeah, it seems like it directly impacted Cassie when she went back on the stand. The transcript talks about a change in her, more poised, focused, quiet confidence.
That makes sense.
She even confirmed talking to 50's team, sharing evidence. That image.
Yeah.
Her on the stand, knowing she has that backing.
It's really powerful knowing you're not just shouting into the void, that someone with that kind of platform believes you is backing you up with resources. It must give you strength, validation.
And her quote, "I'm not scared anymore, not when people are finally listening." Wow, that just lands differently knowing 50 was there.
It really does. It connects directly to his presence, to the feeling of being heard.
And what she testified about next. Some really disturbing stuff. The Hamptons incident, 2017, locked in a guest house for 2 days just for texting another artist. And Diddy allegedly calling her his property. It's chilling.
It paints a really stark picture, doesn't it? Of alleged control, possessiveness, being confined for something so seemingly minor. It just highlights the alleged power imbalance she's describing.
She also talked about these unwritten rules in Diddy's world. Restrictions on where she could go, who she could talk to.
Creating an environment.
And then she directly appealed to anyone else who'd seen things like this to come forward. The transcript actually notes Diddy's reaction. Disbelief. Fury.
Ooh, yeah.
What does that visible anger suggest?
Well, it could suggest a lot of things, but primarily maybe a fear of exposure. That the carefully managed image, the silence he maybe relied on, was starting to crack.
Right. Her direct appeal hit a nerve.
It seems like it. And then the defense, they seem to be scrambling.
Yeah, the transcript mentions this emergency strategy session, late night, debating whether to stick to denial or maybe try a more emotional plea.
That sounds like a team caught completely off guard.
Totally. Like 50's involvement, Cassie's stronger testimony. It just blew up their game plan, forced a major rethink.
Meanwhile, the prosecution isn't sitting still. They bring in new testimony. 2 former employees.
A tour manager and an assistant.
Right. Corroborating Cassie's claims. And the judge lets it in. Overrules the defense's objection.
Why is overruling that objection so significant here?
Well, legally, it means the jury gets to hear it. It's deemed relevant, admissible. It adds independent voices backing up Cassie's account.
Undermines the defense trying to isolate her testimony.
Exactly. It strengthens the prosecution's case. A definite procedural win for them.
And all this pressure, it seemed to be visibly getting to Diddy. The transcript describes him stopping his note-taking, whispering to his lawyers, muttering. There was even a sketch artist's drawing mentioned, him with his head in his hands.
That's a powerful image, a crack in the facade maybe, showing the human strain, the anxiety under that composed exterior.
Yeah, and outside the courtroom, the public reaction was massive, immediate.
Oh, I bet.
Clips of 50 Cent's statement outside. Viral, like 60 million views in 12 hours, the transcript says.
Whoa.
And then this wave. Celebrities starting to break their silence. Usher unfollows Diddy. Mary J. Blige takes down photos with him.
The tide turning.
Public support from Cardi B, Drake, Viola Davis, Gabrielle Union. Justin Bieber posts something cryptic. An anonymous producer speaks out on X.
It's like the dam broke. What do you think prompted that specific shift? Why then?
Well, maybe 50 Cent going public, being physically there, gave others cover. Or maybe you're feeling like, okay, it's safer now. The momentum has shifted.
Could be a catalyst. It suggests a real crack in those industry dynamics, that wall of silence.
And it wasn't just social media chatter. Revolt, Diddy's own company, reportedly holding emergency meetings, sponsors getting nervous, pulling back.
See, that's real-world impact. Financial, reputational. Sponsors backing away. That's just serious concern about association. Big consequences.
And all through this, 50 Cent keeps posting online. Messages like, you always deserved better, just keeping the pressure on.
Right. Not letting it fade, reinforcing his support, amplifying the whole narrative.
Okay, so then Cassie's second day on the stand, she focuses on what the transcript calls the control architecture.
Sounds ominous.
Yeah. How Diddy's team allegedly isolated her, managed her calendar, restricted travel, who she could talk to. What do details like that tell us?
It paints a picture of systematic control.
Right.
Not just random blow-ups, but a deliberate structure designed to limit her autonomy, her connection to the outside world. A pattern.
She also talked about a specific incident in 2016, an award show, Diddy allegedly slapping a phone out of her hand.
Why?
Because she laughed at another artist's joke. He accused her of embarrassing him, lacking respect. Seems small, maybe, but...
But it speaks volumes, right? Those alleged microaggressions, the public displays of dominance, they can be signs of a much bigger pattern of control.
Disrespect. And they played an audio recording.
Oh, wow.
Diddy's voice, yelling, "Don't test me, Cass. You know what happens when you push me." The transcript says the courtroom just went silent. And Diddy visibly reacted, hearing his own voice.
That must have been incredibly impactful. Audio is undeniable, isn't it? It's not interpretation. The jury hears his tone, the words, directly. His reaction probably showed he knew how damaging it sounded.
So fast forward. Day 5 is already super tense. Bieber's online comments had apparently heightened security. And then 50 Cent walks in again.
Around 2?
Yeah. And this time, the description is almost theatrical. Tailored black suit, dark glasses again, but walking right down the center aisle. like it was a stage.
Deliberate.
Why do that, do you think? The center aisle?
It seems like a clear statement, doesn't it? Reinforcing his presence, his support, it's impossible to miss. Everyone sees him, especially Diddy. A very visual act of solidarity, making sure his presence is felt.
And the reactions were instant again. People snapping photos, Diddy looking even more agitated. The transcript suggests 50's purpose this time was simply to be seen.
And that in itself is powerful in that context, just being there. A constant reminder of the scrutiny, the stakes, the outside world watching. It maintains that pressure cooker feel. Psychologically impactful, I'd imagine.
And then came the moment. Cassie is testifying about an incident. Miami Estate, 2018. And Diddy just shouts out, "That's not what happened," slams his hand on the table.
Oh, okay.
Courtroom freezes. That's a massive breach of decorum, right?
Huge, absolutely huge. In that super controlled environment, that kind of outburst,
Yeah.
it signifies a major loss of composure. It suggests her testimony was hitting really close to home. He couldn't contain it.
But he wasn't done. He then allegedly directs a threat at 50 Cent across the room.
What did he say?
Something like, "You've been waiting for this, haven't you? You'll regret it." Security had to step in.
And 50's reaction?
Apparently none. Just stayed calm, didn't react, which is a reaction in itself, I guess.
Definitely a charged moment. Diddy lashing out at 50. It highlights that personal animosity, maybe feeling directly challenged by 50's presence. 50's staying cool could be seen as strength or just smart tactics. Don't engage.
And the judge laying down the law directly to Diddy. Control yourself or I will. That really underlines how serious it got.
Right.
The transcript argues this was the moment, the illusion shattered, where that carefully built public persona of Diddy just came undone. Why this moment specifically?
Because it was so public, so raw. Uncontrolled anger, a perceived threat right there in court. It directly contradicted that image of cool control he always projected.
Right.
It offered this unfiltered glimpse of something else, something that maybe aligned more with the allegations being made against him. And with 50's past warnings about him resurfacing, it all sort of clicks into place for observers.
So the bigger picture from day 5, according to this transcript, was this shattering, a powerful figure seemingly unraveling, and maybe a real turning point for the music industry.
It suggests that day was a catalyst, yeah. It forced things out into the open, exposed tensions, maybe prompted this wider rethink about power, silence, accountability in the industry. The silence definitely seemed broken after that.
So wrapping this up, it really feels like 50 Cent showing up. It wasn't just a sideshow. It was a major catalyst.
It appears so, yes.
It seemed to embolden Cassie, clearly rattled the defense team, and then triggered this much bigger public reaction, this reckoning.
Exactly. His actions, as described here, they went beyond just celebrity news. They seemed to have a real, tangible effect on the trial itself and definitely on the wider conversation around it.
It's pretty remarkable, actually, how this one event, captured so well in this transcript, gives us such a powerful window into these dynamics. Power, silence, and what can happen when one person decides to act, even against, huge odds.
It really does raise those fundamental questions, doesn't it? About accountability, about the courage it takes to speak truth to power, especially in industries known for protecting their own.
Which brings us to that final thought for you listening. Thinking about everything we've just unpacked from this transcript, what does this whole unfolding situation suggest about the future? About accountability in entertainment? And maybe more broadly, what are the implications, the risks and rewards of choosing to speak out, to challenge power when the personal and professional stakes are so incredibly high? Definitely something to mull over.